Hello, and welcome back with the external development and study. That is where we talking about something uh, that is more than the requirement to be possess any kind of professional, but is essential of human development. It's outbouncing of our general knowledge, which is deep down in philosophy and also interconnected in psychology and between the human to human. It could be the sociology and further study of that. So according to that, we is talking about the history of philosophy with multiple branches. You still remember the area of that, the sanctuary of Sophia. And we did talking about um, a little bit of ethics branches with effective altruism from Peter Singer, which is basically is just a rational mind and altruism ideology that is dedicated for the good of other with rational consciousness. And then we're touching a little bit of aesthetic philosophy, study of beauty, when we have an extended course about the the power of art, aesthetic, and music that can change the world, which is a recommendation by the Human Rights Watch, Council of Human Rights. And then we did going to touching today is something more fundamental, which is supposed to be the first thing we touch, but because this kind of program is not really deeply focused on philosophy or the heavy theoretical of philosophy education, so we will not uh, throughout the general time and space and branches as usual. We're just touching some preface in terms and idea of that and how it can benefit for the non-profit effort we have in Vietnam and the world. So we see the major thing here. We gonna touch something called metaphysic. We see the title today. The metaphysic. What would that? What does that mean? That terms and how it related to non-profit, which is key idea. And of course, it is the second priority of this extended development. That is, who want to be developed more about extended theory and extended knowledge of philosophy or metaphysics. Please feel free to seeking for further ideas. So let's see if that benefit for you or uh, part of your passion or interest to read more or study more about it or not. That's the whole idea of this. And of course, the priority is how this knowledge construct our practice in nonprofit. But we see up here that is sanctuary core idea. We see have the book, the name up here. We see that the one we're talking majority here today. That is Aristotle. So with the term of metaphysics, it's based on the first century, the BCE, so about more than 2,000 years ago. The editor of Aristotle work put on the study he have into a book named the Metaphysica, which just mean is the one after the one about nature. And the one about nature actually is the book that Aristotle talking before. It's named Physic. What is the name of this? So Aristotle had the book named Physic, collected all the writing he taught about the natural, the nature and natural worlds, right? How the worlds be construct and how we sensible and mutable of the objective, how we forming the object. It's a physical world, what we say it today. It's not about only about the science of physics with cosmology and the force and gravity is a science after that. Aristotle is the founding father of science. So what he say is before the forming of science. The book about nature, which is physics. Physics is about nature. Study of physics as philosopher is study about nature. Uh, and how the nature, the world, a physical world be construct. how the rock becomes a rock, how the table become a table, and how the human become a human, how the kingdom become the kingdom, that are physical worlds. And the book that people thinking about as Ta Metaphysica is the one after about the book physics, even after the book with physics. So the meaning of that, the scientists and scholar believe that the meaning of this book is Aristotle, one, this is as the next level of knowledge. After you mastermind the idea of the physics, you should learn something about physics. So that about physics is metaphysics. So that's why the terms we're calling the ideas of this. Uh, so we can call it in the fourth century, some scholar go deeper in philosophy and in history, thinking about Aristotle have some expose some idea to he believed as the first philosophy, first science, right? The wisdom of theology uh, depend on how we can transfer the Latin word into modern English word. But the whole idea of metaphysics from now on, and that terms to become the idea about physics, the philosophy to explain the physical worlds. That's the whole idea of metaphysics. The key idea of metaphysics is actually not really complicated, and metaphysics is go deeper in the study of how we construct the physical worlds. It starts by the first course, which is well, a modern belief, and as historian belief is it might be the name of the God, but belief. But this term of God is not focused on the any religion God, because Aristotle, his time of Aristotle is a bit before the time of majority religion we have so far. So the term of God is just supernatural, basically. It's not focused on any religion. So because Aristotle have his logic to believe that it's not such a thing as infinity. So we have the cause, have the final explanation, final cause, and that final cause with an end, with a beginning of metaphysics that create the physical world is called the God. That is the first cause. And then the first cause will create more cores of the ideas, which is the being. So we had a being which have different faces of being. The cores, now the being to be represented in two categories we see up here. The category is the way human construct the being, the being of things, the being of the rock, right? Category of the rock. What type of rock that rock is something belonging to geographic, right? Or material. That is the category of that. And location, where with that the rock is underground, right? Or the rock is on a mountain. So the rock on a mountain is different with the rock underground. Possession of properties is possessed to anyone or is possessed to the nature. Or it's called a natural rock. Quality or quantity, quality, right? What type of rock? Is it common rock? Or is it super rare rock, which is diamond and all kind of jewelry we have now today? Or quantity, right? Quantity. That's how many rock? One piece, a small one, is a small quantity, or the quantity could be measured by the weight of that, or the ton of that, right? The bundle of that. So that is the idea. How do you identify the being in the categories? Or relation, the substance, the time. Of course, substance is something more deeply forming the idea of modern science, which is what atoms and all kind of creations inside the rock. So talk about substance. See that on this corner. Metaphysics is only form of physics, form of philosophy, speaking about the substance, which is the primary of the things. The primary create the physical worlds. The primary create the things. That is all about metaphysics. So the substance is the primary. That is the way Aristotle forming this idea. What's the primary? That is substance, right? not the form. Of course, the form is the way Aristotle argued with his master Plato, who this idea, famous with the idea of the form. Which in this model, they have the rejection of Plato of the form, basically the idea of the forms and the idea of the substance. What is more important, right? With their Plato, the world of form is more important. The form of circle is much more important than the circle you see in your eyes, because that form is the origin of that physical circle, physical plate. But Aristotle's looking for something more on the ground, which is something inside the things, right? Something inside to create that round dish, right? It's not about the form, but the thing make that dish become the dish, and that called the substance, right? Because that substance is the material, with the thing of forming material, which is deep down in the material of the material, which is the modern physics believe that the atoms, right, and the quark, that's all of the quantum physics, whatever it is. But that super tiny thing create is the substance of everything, right? Substance of human being, right? A body, also the small little atoms, right? Electron, all kind of the magnetic fields. That is physics. But during the time of Aristotle, he just think about how about something super small that we cannot see, and we call it substance. Is a thing it create of these things, right? This product, this uh, this table as a rock of a human. How about something like that, right? So that is something it gives the philosophy on the ground more than on the non-physical worlds like the form as a Plato. So that's why Aristotle and Plato is the founding father of philosophy, that they have a different idea, but forming the two face of the idea and the real worlds. So in that core, a substance is something, is a material create the things, right? And how the thing be created. So how the thing being, or how the being beginning, right? There are four types of being. Accidental being, which is it just happened by the change, right? It caused by something, right? For example, the volcano is disruption of the volcano, right? That accidental being. They create more mixed material inside the volcano to fit out. The earthquake, people die, chain of the geographic. That's accidental being. The new being is a new form, a city, right? Or we can use a history of the uh, Asian Euro city. I forgot the name of that. Um, so that Asian city be wiped out just by the eruption of the volcano. This happened a lot. For some volcano in Latin Africa, America, or some volcano in Japan, it wiped out. So they would have wiped out the old being. It accidentally create a new being. It's a new form of the ground, and that's called accidental being. So a lot of accident create the new things. That is accidental being. We don't we don't want to have that things happen, right? It just happened by the accident, right? Second, being at truth is leading logically necessary truth. Right? When you do something, it had the result. That it being at truth. When it's saying something, it meaning something. The meaning is being at the truth. And then a category of being, of course, we have different categories of being. It could be substance, could be actual and potential, and being in actuality and being in potentiality. Basically, it just have two separate idea of being, of the form before being. First, the actual, right? Actual is when the matter has been formed, and potential is the state before the matter being formed, right? So that's why we all have potential. Everything has potential, but it gotta be formed to become the actual. And that potential is some way is a state of substance before it creating to some actuality. And I have the idea up here is that actual is destroyed to create the new things, right? And then we have two idea up here, necessary and accidental. Necessary, that is without being a thing is not become, right? That is necessary. The whole idea necessary philosophically beside of the epistemology of that of the word. What is necessary? Without that thing, you're not that thing, right? What is necessary of being human, right? That is the questions. Of course, it's not a body part. 2 legs and 2 arms. Because how about disabled people, right? They have 1 leg, 1 arm, or even no arm. Is they still human? They still human, right? DNA could be something that decide the necessary to be human, right? Even the thing outlook of us could be changed. It could be some mental issue. We cannot think like a regular human. But our DNA make us a human, right? Not a monkey. Even we share the same ancestor, but doesn't mean we're the same. And also, we have the second term is accidental. What's the property? If you remove, it still leave the thing intact, the same thing, right? You have the example is Socrates, still a musicians. Even if he isn't, he's still Socrates. Yeah, accidental part of that. Without that, you're still who you are, but it's not necessary part of you, right? Philosopher. What is necessary to become a philosopher? You have philosophical thinking, right? You got to think like a philosopher, question everything. That a philosopher, right? Philosopher could have 2 arms, but without 1 arm or without both arms, if he still question everything, he's still philosopher. That's how it works. Okay, and one more term we're not reaching out. It's a 4 cause. So this cause is actually is a 4 way to asking about the metaphysical form of things. It's a formal of form of that shape, how it form, how the thing formalized. It's formalized by the substance, it's formalized by a cause of being, formalized from a necessary part and accidental part. But how it's forming, we'll answer it later. Material, what it's forming from, what is the substance, right? Final, what's the goal, what the purpose, or teleology. And efficiency, cost, why it need to be forming like that. I see that it's different, right? How it formed and why it formed is different. And what it forming to become what, right? And who gonna forming them? That's only the efficiency too. Or who or what? Because it could be from human, artificial, or non-human nature, or from God, right? Supernatural. So that's a basic idea of a nonprofit of the metaphysic questions and terminology and the question that when you see things at the metaphysical approach, we see that why is form, how is form, what is substance, right? What a key idea, what is necessary, what is accidental, right? What is forming for, what the purpose of forming this, right? How we define the being of this form, of these things, right? What the first cause of that, and how we see the actuality and potentiality of the things. So based on this, I want to do something that connected with our work today because we do have multiple idea about metaphysics. Metaphysics is one of the oldest and biggest branch of philosophy beside of philosophy of value or ethical philosophy, which is basically about how we define what's bad, what's good, and all about altruism. So metaphysics based on what is create the physical appearance I we see. How about we start doing that with our nonprofit idea? Because when the beginning of this, I cannot find, and I don't think heard anyone mention or write out about the philosophy of nonprofit. We have philosophy of for-profit, right? That's economic basically, and reciprocity and resource allocations, how to exchange things and idea, and personal benefit, everything related to that. ethical philosophy. We have philosophy for the public sector, which is philosophy of politics or political philosophy. There's the same thing. And other is epistemology and other philosophy related to the behavior in the political worlds and power theories about that. How about nonprofit? Nonprofit, we see something that, which is I can admit is effective altruism, because they're part of nonprofit. And now I'm trying to see how metaphysics can support a nonprofit action. And we see the core ideas. Because throughout the debate currently with 3 nonprofit I'm working on, they have 2 major issues. And I believe that with a metaphysical approach, we can deal with it. Because metaphysical is dealing to the substance, to a primary cause, the first cause of things, the first cause of nonprofit. If that first cause still given in, it still exists, that nonprofit still exists, even with or without that accidental or actuality. Because the first cause is still there. The 4 major cause is still there. That's why. And the necessary is still there. And we can define that. It's still, that organization is still in the state of being. So that both are nonprofit. The first nonprofit problem with them is they have the conflict of power or struggle of power. Basically, a group of highly appealing, highly with a highly character, let's say, highly guy. Normally, it's this old guy. Well, with there's some referral power in the community, start to want to gain more power in a nonprofit. So they want to elect themselves in the board of director and want to be the chairman or director, even though they don't know how to function a nonprofit, because they assume that it's just like a different way of tribalism and a community interaction way, village type idea that is the one who own and have some big family supporting him. It could be their leader by a point, more than the one who really understand how to function a nonprofit and listen to other board member and conducting vote at the democratic process of every kind of nonprofit in the world. So that's the first issue. Second issue is someone related to the second nonprofit that I consult. They have the problem that when the board member don't really do anything, they deactivate. Even they take the opportunity to become the board member, sign up some own kind of conflict of interest, bylaw agreement, board member agreement, whatever paperwork they need to sign up. They don't do their responsibility as a board member. There are 7 of them, but the only 3 board is really do something and meet up on responsibility of the board member, which is pay the board due, attend majority of the meeting, and really make decision and voting to pass through multiple policy. The rest 4 of them is not attend enough meeting, not pay the board due, and not really dedicate something that benefits to the board. And I see that both of that is happened, and it's happened with majority of small nonprofit. And how to deal with that, and how we solve the problem, and I think the way I deal with both of that basically it's based on my metaphysical approach of nonprofit, which I would like to share. After we understand of this, the way I answer the nonprofit practice in the metaphysical approach, and then we go deep into 2 solutions I suggest for the founder of both organizations. Well, first one is we think about the first cause. Of course, we need the first cause. The first cause of a nonprofit or any organization is people think about is laid on the physical, laid on the founder, the president, the one who create the organization, fill on the legal forms and pay for the legal fee, pay some tax, and gaining the status of nonprofit from the IRS in US and other department in other country. But I think something deeper inside that founder. What is the first cause to causing him or her really dedicate for nonprofit and forming an organization. And that is pretty close with the first cause of Aristotle and other philosophers. And talk after this is the Rene Descartes and Charles Berkeley, is something higher than the human itself, with some people believe on the higher power and spiritual. They can call it a god, but I don't really want to call it a god for now. So I want to call it the goodwill. It could be collective goodwill, could be spiritual goodwill. It could be, when it calls spiritual, it might be based on some faith-based organization. But whatever it's called, it's a goodwill. What's a goodwill? The willing to do good. That's a goodwill. And the goodwill is the first cause of non-profit. It's not about other stuff. It's not about getting reputation. It's not about getting money or power, getting more opportunity. It's not about that. It's about a goodwill. Is it about the will? Right? We have something fundamental of the goodwill. It's a will. The will as a power, right? A will as a power as nature and other philosopher belief in the will as a power. And Martin Heidegger, right? The wills and Schopenhauer talk about the will, right? The will as a power. A will of doing what? The will of doing a good thing, the will of doing a bad thing. The will is above the moral. Yes, a lot of argument about the will, but I believe the goodwill, which is the will of doing good, the power, the intuitive power inside human to doing good things, no matter how people is on religion or not. Just born as a good guy, right? A good person, want to do good things for other person. That's a goodwill, and that goodwill is the first cause of the nonprofit. And then we talk about the substance. What is substance of a nonprofit? A good thing could be the structural, could be the programs, could be the donor money. But I think, in belief in mine, it's a good work is a substance. The good work is not about only about the good program that's serving for the benefit of the public good that we attack it to. But the good work is something which is prepare for that program, prepare for the action, prepare for the donor, right? Prepare for gaining the donation. Because of what? Because the goodwill first create the good work, and then good work create the good outcomes. That's what I think. It's a good work. And how we define the good work, right? There are multiple ways to define it. And of course, in the metaphysic, it got to be the substance, the key idea. Substance is the smallest thing, the primary thing. But define what is good or bad. We have some other idea of the value philosophy. What's the good or bad, right? To define what's the good, right? So what a good work. You call it good work, but I call it bad work. But I think whatever work based on a goodwill is a good work. And what's the goodwill, right? So willing to dedicate for good things to other, right? To the human being. That's what we define the good. And of course, we have a lot of argument about that, but throughout the democratic discussion and debate and analytic and what I call finding the harmonize of idea of good as the groups, we will find what's the goodwill, what's the good for the most, right? But it starts with good work. It's much more important than a good outcome. Because that is substance. Without a good work, it's hard to have the good outcome. Third, what is necessary, right? A necessity. So I think that the necessity of a non-profit organization is a non-profit ideology. So not-for-profit ideology to forming organization. How I understand not-for-profit is mean any individual in that organization not seeking for any form of profit to themselves. The organization itself might make some profit, which is revenue exists, the expand what it profit in economic case, But in the end, that organization is just a warehouse that we storage those resources in a certain time before we distribute it throughout the good work. That is the idea of nonprofit. That's why we can see they have profit in some way, but in the end of the fiscal year, you gotta show out to the public that how that profit's been storage and about to distribute. That is, we don't keep anything for our personal profit because we do it for nonprofit. As we say, now we do. That is the necessity of the nonprofit work. It's not for the profit. Okay. So let's have something else. So when we talk about necessary, we talk about accidental. There are a lot of things is outside of the nonprofit action and outside good work, goodwill action, right? It could be the will of power, will of representative, right? Will of seeking for acceptance or seeking for reputation. Outside of good work, it could be average work, with a bad work, could be the corruption, could be manipulation, could be deactivate work, passive behavior. Outside of not for profit, it could be for profit, it could be politics, it could be something imposter behavior to forming the nonprofit for some other practice like hatching tax or generate some sort of the wealth distribution, which has happened with a term modernly. We call it philanthrop capitalist, kind of like that, but in a more negative form of that. So all that thing outside of good work, goodwill, not for profit, is all the accident. We don't want that, but it's happened because we are human. We're stupid. We're lazy, right? We're greedy. All that thing create too much accident or accidentals things outside of the nonprofit. But the key idea is you got to define which is the substance of a nonprofit, and whatever is not served for the substance or not served for the goals of organization, which is a part of a four course. We see that the final teleology is an accident, and what the key idea of accident is, if we remove that accident, it doesn't change the nature of the organization. So we just think about this. All right, this thing is an accident. Are these things necessary? Right. Collect monthly membership is a necessary as accident, right? Oh, have the meeting every month is a necessary as accident, right? And can we do something else with that, right? Tie up any paperwork and take official role is an accident, is necessary. And we discussed that how we go in democratic world to create a fairness. So define the goals, define the substance of organization, define the necessary organization, define the first cause organization is how we eliminate the accidents. Whatever not served for the first cause is accident, basically is. Okay, next part. We talk about potential. So in the term up here, actual, potential, right? Actual got to see in the real matter. Potential is something before the matter, but which is in creative matter. I believe that human power is the potential. It's not about organization itself. The organization with some special privilege, tax advance, tax deductible, non-profit cost, some grant could be good. But without human capital, without human power, it going nowhere. It still stay in the potential. It cannot transfer it become actuals. And what is actuals? Result, right? It's not a goal, right? With a goal, we can hit or not hit the goal. The goal is something oriented the group and the organization. But sometimes we don't hit the goal. Like, for example, we do sustainability development. We see that sustainability development could be derailed. We can miss like 20 years. Asia Pacific can miss like 32 years, right? So we go there to orient it us. It doesn't mean we can hit it up. The result's different. Result is mean happen. It's an actual things out there. And the metaphysical things of that result, based on the human power, would turn the potential to become the actual. That's what. So without result, doesn't mean anything, right? It's just laid out in potential. So we go some being, four type of being. I don't think non-profit is a being as accidental, except with some personal things that is some individual failure to work in public sector, which is government, with a lot of politics, paperwork, big system, low pay, whatever. And failure, it works on for profit, which is making a lot of money but highly pressure and sacrifice some legal ethical values. The accidental finding the third solution with a nonprofit, yeah, it could be possible, but it's a nonprofit organizational standpoint. I believe that the being of nonprofit is a being as the truth that we need nonprofit. We created meaning to do it, and the existence of nonprofit based on the truth that the society need that, human being need that, the group that we serve need that, and we have the first cause to create that. We have substance to create that. We have necessity to create that. We have potential to create that, and we create that with actual outcomes. Second, right, the substance of the when you think about the categories of being. So how we put the nonprofit in a category. In economically, is put it on the third sector, which is separate between a for-profit and the public system, which is we're not heavy based on the government, we're not heavy based on the business, but we need something fulfill the gap of those major branches in human practice. In ethical philosophy, we feel on the good side. If you're not doing the good side, doing good, you're not a nonprofit anymore. And in other field, sociology and psychology, we on the human work, of course, and not really categories of that, but categories of being as a nonprofit is on the good side, which is a belief, and the substance and actuality of that is based on the goodwill and the good work. The categories of being, another category of being is have based on legal framework. That is different between a professional nonprofit and a non-professional practice. And of course, four causes, which is the most important in kind of nonprofit and other organization, is how it forms as a legal entity, 501c3, 501c4, 501c7, you name it, but it got to be forming as legal entity inside that category of that state. When you do international, got to claim that international, and where the headquarters, got to claim it. That's how it format. Second, the materials, what the substance create that nonprofit. Good work, right? Why is not good? Why is not good person or good people? But good people could be great, but good people cannot do the good work. It's not called the nonprofit. Good people is going around and don't do anything. Yeah, you cannot define as a good organization or the organization dedicated for the good of the public. And the final, of course, the goal of nonprofit is for the public good. In some different form, could be protect the underrepresented, provide more education, provide more charity work, or relief, and could be education, could be science, could be religion, whatever. Right? It's still the public good. It depends on how you forming the idea of publics. Right? Efficiency, the cost. You got to make from the good people, right? Good people. How do you define the good people? Of course, you got people with a goodwill. The good people. Yeah, we want to falling into the other pitfall value theories, but of course, you got to make from the people, not by the rules and regulation and paper. nonprofit make from the people. When the people who create that form walk away, that nonprofit collapse. Even it have all the entities and name and funding, it still can collapse, right? So that a key idea, metaphysically idea of the nonprofit that I think we should mention more and evaluate more. Of course, see that when we go down with the goodwill and the good people, because they're heavily on people functioning organization. It's not for the interest, not for the profit, more the people, good heart and good sign. It go more about philosophy of ethics, how to define what's a good, what's a bad, right? It doesn't mean that the people who don't do nonprofit is a bad people, right? It could be normal people. Dualism among good or bad, right? 50-50, yeah, do the right things, paying tax. But the one who doing nonprofit, seeking more good than others, what I believe. Because you really hands-on, you put your hand on dirt to do the good work, to support the weak, support the poor. All right, so that is basically philosophical ideology of nonprofit. So with this basic idea, I find out the setup, answer and suggestion for two issue of the nonprofit before, and I tell you, it's super simple. The first issue of the struggle of power, what I want to do is I based on the form of the goodwill. Do that new leaders, whatever he is, I don't care he's old or he's highly referent power of his family, I don't care. But he is serving as a chairman with a goodwill. Do he understand what's a goodwill, right? And do he know how to good work, conduct a good work? But a good work is substance of a nonprofit. You can be the chairman of whatever you want, whatever you want. Yeah, politically. But when you come to chairman, what are you going to do next? How you conduct a good work, right? How are they seeing that as a good work? That are questions. And do he seeking for not for profit or seeking for his personal profit? Why he want to gain so much power to decide who is aboard and who want to do what and how he distribute the funding? Is that potential conflict interest in there? Well, yeah, we see it does, but let's see, right? How do you make sure? And when he become the chairman, do he serving the goal of that nonprofit, right? And do he can he deliver the result? Because every human have the human potential, right? That is something cannot define. But how can conduct the result? Like whatever I'm going to say in a second case of nonprofit, talking about who want to be a chairman should have the strategic plan, the visionary proposal, and action plan in the next 5 years, which is conduct the result. That is the result of a leader. Leader need to have the strategic plan, visionary action plan. Without that, you're not a leader. You're just someone has a title, some positional power, but wouldn't really how to do it. So that is something we go through the test. Of course, other category of being right, being legal framework. Did the way he elect himself, self-nominate to become the next leader, like next chairman, meet the legal framework, which is throughout the bylaw, throughout the government requirement, federal laws of nonprofit, throughout democratic voting process, did not go through. He he violated categories of the being nonprofit. And of course, the final check for causes, right? Is that doing for good? Is serving the goal of public good? And he's a good people? Those type of question make me give a suggestion for my first group of nonprofit is how to deal with struggle of power. Stick on the bylaw and check him. He didn't understand the bylaw. He don't understand bylaw. It violates legal framework. And secondly, in the bylaw, it clear out stating the goal, the vision, how to conduct a good work. If you cannot do what he serve, right? Sign on the bylaw. He general speaking, he failed first test to become the chairman. And by law, It's the formation of the collective ideas of nonprofit, the forming that nonprofit, because everybody in the board of directors sign up the bylaw, everybody in office sign on the bylaw. So that bylaw is serving at least 20 actively good people who are willing to serve for 3,000 other individuals. And cannot because only one guy to violate that bylaw, that social contract. And yeah, they can have a meeting today and see how it's going. Because the next chairman who failed all the tests have no metaphysical understanding of nonprofit would fail anyway. Second nonprofit issue. The second nonprofit I'm working on in different state. With 4 dysfunction chair and 3 active chair, and about to the founder about to eliminate some of them and gain and hiring more board members. And of course, I use the metaphysical approach of nonprofit to working on it. You select people with a goodwill. You select people who know how to do the good work, right? You select people or eliminate people who understand or not understand or not for profit practice. Is that serving the legal framework category, right? Is that impact the human power potential? For example, is that 4 deactivate member who not fulfill responsibility of the board? The first one is a friend of the founder, but she never pay board due, the board dues, who never do anything for the board, just show up there. Don't say much thing and basically cannot make any decision. So I told him that she might have the goodwill and good potential, but she just don't know how to do the good work. And she might not understand the nonprofit and the goal and how she can serve. So he should have the soft conversation with her first before to pursue other formal action like eliminate her in the formal meeting, which is happen next week. Because we all start with goodwill and potential. When we want to serve, spend a couple hours per month, Saturday morning to be with your friend. We don't want to disrespect that sacrifice. Even it's not enough to become the good people with a good work. But could be some goodwill behind it. Sometimes majority is just not understanding the process. That's why I want to see people do goodwill and good work. And how to do a good work. That way, I provide all the nonprofit, which is a training. Majority, you can heard that in this program before, is a nonprofit ready certificate teaching about basic understanding of nonprofit essential and board member essential, other marketing, fundraising, grant seeking, project management. Basically, it's some idea. So you understand how to do good work. And second, we observe you for a couple months to see how you actually do the good work, create the result which is actually of your work. If you fail the second test, you may get removed or you may be downgrade. Because even in the board director, there are many board. The center is a board director or the board or the functioning board who have the clear function of what they do to serve organization. Outside of that, we call it board at large. Basically, it's just for networking and keep up relationship. Outside of that, we have board of advisory. We were seeking for advice on people with updated idea. Outside of the center, we have the observer who want just observation, don't do anything, don't have any right or responsibility or ability to make you vote anything. Their opinion is optional. And of course, voluntary groups who really do some action, but no power to make decision. That's how it works. So even you are on the board, but you still can fail out other section of the board based on how you dedicate the good work and good result. So what should I recommend to him, to the founder of the second nonprofit, to really have conversation with her and maybe move up her to the board at large let she take time to think about what she can do. And we can help her, tell her about what she can help. If she don't want to fulfill the responsibility of action board member, she can go around and become networking external coordinator for us. Not a big deal. Have another board who have some financial relationship with the founder, but not really fulfill the responsibility either. The founder want to eliminate him, but I also have him the conversation to explain one more time, because the founder who is 70 years old and do this thing for 7 years, but still not understand the well-construct knowledge of nonprofit, which is metaphysically approach nonprofit. Besides scientifically, which is I can discuss in other days. But yeah, just have the final conversation. That are basically study your communications. That how you should what you're gonna do. But without communication, we don't know how other people thinks. Everything is as a guess, right? Without communication, really reach out to the substance in their mind, in their idea, in their thought, get in their causes. Everything is a potential. It's not actual, right? That another word, metaphysics. Yeah, and two more board member. We still do the same thing. We gotta believe on the power of the communication and goodwill in everybody. You just cannot create into the good work and actual outcome. And another one, another part of the idea that I suggest him to, he want to change anything, got to based on the bylaw and go through the board to make up the board power, gain the substance of the board. The substance of the board of director is making direction. You let the director make direction. They are not director anymore. Director is the one who make direction. If you don't give them the chance to make direction, they're not director. All right, they just sit out there doing nothing. Leader who cannot lead other people is not a leader. It's just a name, right? So what is the substance? We are on the roll. Substance of the chairman, right? Substance of the chairman. Who the chairman? Who is leading the board with equal feel? So how you leading people with the equal responsibility and power with you? Leading them by vision, by strategic plan, by action plan that include everybody on that, and you are the architecture of that. The only way you deserve to be the chairman. That's how it works, basically. And of course, I suggest for my founder friend is next time when they select more board member, pick up the one with the goodwill and willing to learn how to do the good work, because the good work part I can help with certificate, with training, with experience, with projects. But the goodwill, it's hard to find. The goodwill is something hidden inside, and gotta find a trickle to turn it on. And then we give them the tools, the instrument to do the good things. And that's how the organization would be formed. So that's basically a long story of that. And here is some metaphysic idea of René Descartes. Some people don't know, but he actually is mathematicians, natural scientist or natural philosopher. Second, and the last one of his life career is gone metaphysicians, because we believe metaphysics is the first philosophy of everything. When you master logic with mathematicians and you master understand the physical world based on natural philosopher like uh, Isaac Newton, you become the metaphysicians who study about the thing beyond physical worlds. And of course, you have the father of dualism too, who separate the mind and the matters, right? The mind and matters, and which is the center of that is a God. Also, the terms as we use they use in philosophy to talking about supernatural entities. The God, the mind, the matters. His is René Descartes' metaphysical philosophy. Another one after him is George Berkeley. Of course, he's more religious guy by himself of the colonial, and he more about idealism, right? Defend the reality exclusive the mind's idea. Have the three things, right? The ideas, the minds, and the God, which is forming the physical world. We don't understand fully the physical world. It's just like a bundle of idea and subject and object, and we got to go through them ideas, which is we can perceive and go through our spirit, right, and go through the God to really forming our imagination and reality of things. So that pretty much is in the course today. Discussed a little bit about the uh, metaphysic of nonprofit because I think it's important. Without without metaphysics is the only things of philosophy to questioning about the creation of things, the creation of physical worlds. That's why we wonder about the core idea, the essence of things. That is a question of metaphysics. And then modern theories and develop metaphysics in multiple ways. Ontology, about just teleology, focus on the cause of being and focus on the goal of being in other field. But metaphysics is something keep up as the idea of this course, external development. Metaphysics give you the tools to think about something above the physical world, above the thing you see outside. That is, thing you see deeply inside and wave above the ideas. And I hope you learning something and gather some information from the course today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.